Brand new trap doesn't matter what kind of trap it is. I have found very few that are ready to go out of the box. I'm trying to keep animal welfare in mind. Okay, most of us are trapping now more urban areas. We're end up having to be where the city has come into us, or maybe some of you guys are even from the city or around the city. We just need something to make sure if we have accidental catches, we want to make sure that that animal has, can be basically released. Also, we are on a 24-hour check law in here in Illinois, but still, we don't want to make that last 24 hours of that animal's life the most miserable of its, entire life. We want to just basically catch and hold him. That's our job. So some things with the brand new trap that we need to do is I like to clean up the pan area, the trigger area, square it up so that this trap we can control how far that pan's going to drop before it gets fired. Okay? We don't want to tease him any more than we have to. And we also want that trap so that if we are targeting a certain specific species, that we know how much weight it's going to take for him to step onto that pan to be committed. So we can clean these pans up simply by just taking a small square file, making the notch. Also with the pan here, the notch, also the end of the dog needs to get squared up, and then any tensioning that you need done. Coyotes typically, I run anywhere from 4 to 6 pounds, especially if I'm in a low fox population. I don't want to catch fox. I will run a higher pan tension. While we're looking at that pan and that notch, another thing to look at then is how the pan bolt fits through the frame and also the pan itself, the shank of the pan. Anybody notice how you can pull each trap down a little differently and kind of seems to bring that dog along with it before it snaps? A lot of that travel is happening in our bolt. Most of our bolts are right around a number 8 bolt that they use. The hole that goes through is larger than a number 8, smaller than a number 10 because they stamp that hole out with a machine. They don't drill it out. So there's some inconsistencies there. So that's another thing we could do to this is just take another number 10 drill bit, drill through there, replace it with a 3/16 bolt, and we can have a nice pivoting point on our pan. But we want fast fixes here. Having the swivel off to the side is fine. Okay? As long as the trap is good and strong. Ideally, if I had my way, every trap out of the box probably would have a pivot off of the center or off of the direct bottom. Okay? Because technically then I'm pulling off the center here, like this one, and I'm going to always keep myself in the center of the trap. I have no chance to move side to side. If I was just getting this trap ready for coon, mink, and muskrat, I'd go ahead and just leave that right where it is. It's a brand new trap, springs are good and strong, but the only thing I would do as far as fastening this trap, probably add just a little more chain and at least one more swivel. Okay? All of my traps have at least 2, if not 3 swivels in them. Swivels are the main saver. That's something else a lot of guys have heard in the past, that, especially like a muskrat, they chew themselves off. They don't chew themselves off. The damage that we see happen to a muskrat a lot of times is from the moving, the twisting motion. Okay? And we see this too as these swivels get caught up here with grass and that. It doesn't swivel as much. Now we're trying to roll the whole trap. We see some twisting happening. We're still counting on this other swivel. So the more swivels, the better. I can see this Duke trap here. It's 1.5 Duke. What I can do is I can actually run my finger here on the inside of this jaw. What I'm looking for is sharp edges. Okay? You can feel that big time back here on the back side where they stamp that out. You can clean any of those mars and burrs up, but more importantly, we want to check this whole trap face. If you don't feel like you want to run your finger across that all the time, think what it's going to do to the animal. Okay? See, I'm perfectly comfortable here laying this. If I have, or lay my hand across here, rubbing it. It's not cutting my fingers at all. That means I've got a good trap or a good smooth trap face. If I would happen to run into anything there, we can take just about any file and just basically go in, clean up any of those sharp spots. Just try and get rid of that so that we can get to that point where we want to run our fingers across it, okay, and feel comfortable doing it. And you can do that with just about any file that you get at the hardware store. Just might not want to get something too aggressive as far as the file goes, more like a rasp. That's just some things that I would do to that trap face.